Beauty used to be something you did. A lipstick color, a hairstyle, even a silhouette. Nowadays, beauty is something you're expected to maintain. Beauty used to be something you learned to see long before likes, filters, and timelines. A hairstyle, lipstick, a dress you would try on. Nowadays, modern beauty doesn't reflect who we are personally. It tells us who we should become. Scroll through social media and you'll see it, the images of perfect skin, full lips, and fuller cheeks. Beauty is portrayed as perfection, unattainable, and only viewable through the lenses of our phones. What's so bewildering now isn't how these beauty ideals exist, but how normal they've become. If one doesn't adhere to those standards, they're seen as the odd piece. This video isn't about rejecting beauty. It's about understanding how the way we see beauty is shaped through the things around us. Every era has had a beauty ideal. What changes isn't just the look, it's the pressure. Psychologists have studied self-comparisons towards others for decades, but social media has transformed it to an extreme point. According to Farduli in 2015, young women exposed to social media focused on their appearances and beauty more, while engaging in significantly more appearance-based comparison. This resulted in lower mood and body dissatisfaction and body dysmorphia. Along the same lines, Tiggemann's and Slater's 2013 study showed that adolescent girls who spent more time on platforms such as Facebook tended to feel way worse about their bodies. I think what really matters is who we're comparing ourselves to. Influencers don't feel as distant as celebrities do. They look like us, and they look like people we know or people we could know. And when beauty ideals gets that close, it becomes a forced ideal upon people such as you and I. Social media didn't just change beauty, it made it measurable. Every era has had a beauty ideal, but none of them were accidental. Every point was purposeful. Either it could be because of the economic status or any event during those times. The early 1900s, corseted waists, fragility. The 90s, extreme thinness, eating disorders. 2010s till now, natural perfection, contours, filters, symmetry. What changed isn't just the look, it's the constant access. Our eyes grew accustomed to seeing those same things over and over. Beauty ideals used to live in magazines, novels, poetry, and paintings. Now they live in our pockets. Updated daily, filtered endlessly, optimized for engagement. Psychologist Perloff in 2014 explained that social media doesn't just show beauty, rather it links appearance to the value, desirability, and worth of a person. This is where beauty stops being aesthetic and starts becoming psychological. Cosmetic procedures are increasingly framed as routine, maintenance rather than modification. Likes, views, engagement, before and after photos, watching someone comment on a person's body type and be met with laughs and agreements. Social media didn't just change beauty, it made it measurable. And when worth feels quantifiable, insecurity becomes the only solution to fill this lack of engagement. Research by Walker in 2021 found that greater exposure to cosmetic procedure content is associated with a stronger desire for cosmetic surgery, especially among young women. Not because they're irrational, but because the culture frames enhancement as self-improvement. Cosmetic procedures aren't inherently harmful, but when they're marketed as solutions to insecurity, they can reinforce the idea that natural features are problems waiting to be fixed. This pressure doesn't stop at insecurity. There's a point for some it even becomes clinical. Studies show that exposure to idealized beauty images is linked to eating disorder, BDD, body dysmorphic disorder, anxiety and depression. A landmark review by Grabe and Hyde in 2008 found strong links between media exposure and eating disorder symptoms, especially among young women. And body dysmorphic disorder is really concerning. According to Phillips, a study in 2006, individuals with BDD often pursue cosmetic procedures yet report no improvement or worsening of symptoms afterward. They're chasing after something that changes within time, fleeting even. This matters because insecurity isn't always solved by change, sometimes it's fed by it. Minimally invasive doesn't mean it is risk-free, as the media often portrays. Nothing is risk-free, but the media decided what is worth the risk and what isn't. Research has undocumented potential consequences of procedures such as fillers and Botox, and these include facial asymmetry, nerve damage, and a study in Aesthetic Surgery Journal in 2019 noted that younger patients seeking cosmetic procedures often report appearance dissatisfaction rather than functional concerns, which is a red flag for underlying psychological distress. When procedures are normalized without psychological screening, they can reinforce harmful self-perception. Young girls grow up wishing to receive those procedures because that's what they see. To understand how this shows up in everyday life, I asked young women about beauty, social media, and self-image, those around the ages of 18 to 25, and I asked them in an anonymous survey. I wanted this project to be grounded in real experience, so I asked young women how beauty standards affect them. What emerged were patterns of thoughts such as, I generally have a disordered view of how I see my face and body. It made me develop an eating disorder. Almost all respondents believed that beauty standards affect young women's mental health, especially during their younger years. When identity is still forming, their identity is taken and molded by an exterior force. But when asked what beauty actually means, something changed in their answer. Beauty is loving ourselves inside out. Confidence is what makes you beautiful. We know what beauty is, but we're taught to chase something else. So what can we do when beauty actually starts to feel very heavy? Psychologically, it often begins with noticing, catching ourselves in moments of comparison, especially appearance-based ones, before they quietly turn into self-judgment. Beauty standards do the most damage when they become internalized, when they stop being something we see and start becoming something we believe about ourselves. Small changes can help. Curating what we scroll through, not to avoid beauty, but to try to soften its intensity. It acts as some kind of stimulus control for the mind. Pausing before acting on insecurity gives us space for some kind of cognitive appraisal, so we can be able to ask, is this something I want or something I've been taught to want? And maybe the quietest shift is trying to move away from self-objectification and back towards self-compassion, seeing ourselves not as these images as perfect, but as people to be cared for and to care for. That awareness doesn't just erase pressure, but it builds psychological resilience and reminds us that insecurity isn't personal failure.